We have watched you grow into the strong young woman you are, and as parents we know what is best for you. As your mother and as a dermatologist, I know the risks of using a tanning booth, and we will present them to you starting with the skin. Just take one look at people and the first trait you notice about them is their skin. Being the largest organ in the body, it's pretty hard to miss. So what exactly is the skin? The skin is part of the integumentary system and has vital purposes that range from regulating body temperature to protecting the body from harmful radiation. Some of the more general functions are the skin retards water loss, houses sensory receptors, contains immune system cells. Let's take a look at the anatomy of the skin, Kylie. Here's a cross-section. It is clear that there are two main layers of the skin, the epidermis and dermis. The upper layer, the epidermis, is made of a thinner tissue called epithelium and has no blood vessels. This layer consists mainly of tough flattened cells formed when new cells are pushed away from the nutrient supply in the dermis and die. The old cells form tight bonds and become waterproof and tough when the protein keratin enters them through keratinization. From top to bottom, the layers are the stratum corneum, granulosum, spinosum, and basal. In the stratum basal, there are cells known as melanocytes, which are responsible for your skin color. People with different skin colors have the same number of melanocytes but different amounts of melanin. Melanin is a pigment that determines skin color and is produced in round organelles of melanocytes called melanosomes. Here's a picture of a melanosome. What's happening inside that allows melanin to be made? A special enzyme or protein called tyrosinase enters the cell, and enzymes help change the protein tyrosine into melanin. The melanosomes, found in branching processes called dendrites, fill up with melanin and release it into nearby epidermal cells called keratinocytes. Keratinocytes engulf the pigment and the dark pigment becomes visible. Skin color varies based on the type of melanin, amount of melanin, how it is distributed in the skin as well. The skin can have a lighter melanin type called pheomelanin or a darker, more common one, eumelanin. The dermis is the middle layer that has thousands of microsensors that enable the sense of touch, as well as sweat glands and blood vessels for temperature regulation. This layer is made of connective tissue and has collagen and elastin fibers. The fat layer under the skin is called the subcutaneous layer, and it insulates the body, absorbs shock, and reserves energy. Okay, so you're probably wondering how the tanning booth works. In simple terms, inside the booth, UV light bulbs emit UV radiation to give the tan. This essentially is artificially produced light like the sun. If you're wondering which is worse, sun tanning or indoor tanning, the answer is neither. The reaction of a person to ultraviolet light and sunlight with respect to tanning is thought to be similar. But both can be harmful. One can control the amount of UV radiation they are exposed to in a booth, but it still is harmful. There are different types of UV radiation.
UVB rays are partially stopped by our skin's top layers, the corneal layer and the epidermis. Its effects are superficial, but can be harmful, causing sunburn. UVA rays aren't stopped by the corneal layer. They deeply penetrate the epidermis and dermis.
Tanning beds come in two designs. The first is a horizontal bed or capsule, the second of a stand-up vertical chamber. Both produce the sun's effect on our skin. Yet the vertical chamber's light is typically stronger than that of the horizontal one. Thus, the vertical units tan more of the body without the pain of lying down. Tanning beds bulbs are found in numbers from 10 to 50 and are long fluorescent tubes with gaseous phosphorus coatings and a little bit of mercury. When one lies down, they are separated from the bulb by acrylic structures, and the boots have fans to regulate the heat. High-pressure boots allow for darker tans since there's less UVB rays. The procedure comes in 5 phases: the consent form, exposure time, lotion application, eye protection, and tanning process. The consent form informs you about the process, risks of indoor tanning, and may ask you questions about your skin type to personalize the session. Some states require additional forms for those under 18. The exposure time. Once the skin type has been determined, the facility allots a specific time for the use of the tanning bed. Before the session incepts, most clothing can be removed and lotion applied to protect the skin and enhance the effects of the tanning process. One lotion is aloe vera and others may contain tyrosine, which accelerates melanin creation in the skin for a faster, darker tan. Then, eye protection is done to protect the eyes from UV radiation, as recommended by the FDA. Finally, the tanning begins. The UV light in the bed will trigger melanin production, giving a tan color. UVB light causes melanin production, while UVA light oxidizes melanin particles formed, causing the skin to be darker. Tanning happens in 2 phases: immediate pigment darkening, IPD, and delayed tanning. In the first phase, oxidation of melanin occurs and the tan is dark and noticeable but temporary. Delayed tanning is when melanin is made after several days. More exposure allows for lasting tan, so people schedule frequent sessions. However, the FDA mandates that sessions be at least 24 hours apart to allow the skin to recover from UV damage. The tan lasts 2 weeks to a month. Remember, you have to keep up with sessions or your tan will fade, which can really be a burden. Most tanning salons will charge a monthly fee about $50 for unlimited tanning. Listen to this segment of an interview of a young girl who went through the tanning experience. Why did you decide to get a tan? I think I just wanted to look like I just went on vacation, you know? But really, didn't you even consider the bad effects it could have on your health? I only later discovered that indoor tanning may cause skin cancer. I also grew tired of keeping a fake appearance that tanning gave me. It wasn't really a really natural look, you know? I wouldn't recommend others do this. People should just be happy with who they really are. Kylie, you want a tan to look better, so to tan or not to tan is the question. It depends on what you value more, temporary beauty or your health. In a tanning bed, your skin is more exposed to an excess amount of UV radiation, causing physiological damage. Maybe you're wondering about some of these detrimental effects. One serious tanning risk is skin cancer. Did you know that UV radiation is a cancer-causing substance? Exposure to these artificial rays has been proven to increase a person's risk for developing skin cancer, Kylie. Let's look at some statistics. In a study by the National Institute of Cancer, women who tan using a tanning bed monthly were at a 55% greater risk for having the worst type of skin cancer, malignant melanoma. Young people of your age 15 to the age of 29 who use indoor tanning are 75% more likely to get malignant melanoma. Even worse, this rate is increasing faster in females than it is in males. Even the American Academy of Dermatology Association discourages the use of tanning beds, especially minors. UV light can damage DNA, which has genes that control cell growth. Mutated genes can cause uncontrolled growth and thus cancer. Ultraviolet radiation in tanning beds can also suppress the immune system, allowing strong cancer cells to arise in your body. A mutation in the gene that controls cell growth can lead to the growth of precancerous lesions like actinic keratosis or scaly skin patches of Bowen's disease, both of which lead to a type of cancer known as squamous cell cancer. How exactly does UV radiation cause skin cancer? It may trigger the most common skin cancer, basal cell carcinoma, to arise if too much UV light enters the basal cell layer and damages DNA in the cells. In the genetic material of the cell, there are base pairs of substances called nucleic acids. The UVB light causes a mutation called a CC dimer in the basal layer cells, in which two bases form an incorrect bond with energy from the light. When the cell is replicated, the mistake is copied, causing uncontrolled cell growth. This cancer can be caused if UVA light causes unstable molecules called free radicals to change the DNA and trying to find stability in other cells. UV light causes squamous cell cancer by damaging DNA and causing a mutation that doesn't let old cells die and shed off like normal, resulting in cancerous lesions. Similarly, UV light can interrupt the same shedding cycle of melanocytes, causing a tumor and a malignant melanoma. Another cause of this cancer could be if UV light enters the skin cells and allows the DNA to activate oncogenes, genes that signal the cells to divide. Too much cell division and cancer is the result. A nice golden tanning glow looks great. But what about this? Do you want to age early? Long-term exposure to excess ultraviolet radiation results in premature aging of the skin. Think about it. Are you ready to give up your youthful skin for skin that is thinner and leathery, wrinkly, and spotted? UV rays, especially UVA rays, penetrate into the deeper dermal layers, where the connective tissue has elastic and collagen fibers. When people get continuous tans and tan boots, frequent UVA exposure damages collagen and elastin, components that normally allow the skin to stay firm. The body tries to repair the collagen, but instead destroys it and causes changes in the fibers that lead to wrinkles. Less elastic, wrinkly skin? I think pale, smooth skin sounds a lot better, don't you think? Most people associate sunburns with, well, the sun. But exposure to artificial UVB rays can burn the skin too. These short rays infiltrate the epidermis of the skin, damaging the cells and causing pain. Blood rushes near the surface to repair the damage, making the skin appear the characteristic red color of a sunburn. You can't escape the sunburn by tanning in a booth. skin isn't the only organ that suffers. Intense exposure to UVB light can damage your eyes too. The cornea and other parts of your eyes have chromophores that absorb UV light. Too much absorption leads to problems. One condition that can result is photokeratitis, also known as snow blindness, which is essentially a sunburn of your cornea. Kylie, you really don't want to have unclear vision and irritated eyes just to look tan, do you? And consider this, more exposure can cause cataracts, giving you cloudy vision, cancer around your eyes, and growths on your cornea like Petrogam. A couple of tanning sessions and your sight could change forever. It is interesting that some people become so dependent on tanning that they develop an addiction. They grow depressed and uneasy if they aren't able to attend a tanning session. In one assessment of students, it was found that 35% of those who used tanning beds showed symptoms of addiction to tanning. The risks are real, the damage is fatal. Don't join a tanning saloon, Kylie. It isn't definite how long exposure to UV light must be to produce harmful effects, but by joining a tanning saloon, you're risking your life. Your life isn't worth the tanned body. I hope after this explanation, Kylie, that your thoughts on tanning have changed for the better.